Why, hello there. My name is Joel. I'm going to be putting together your choir video, so I'm really excited to do this. And I thought I'd make a little video on just tips for recording your performance and for sending that file to me. So without further ado, let's do it. For your choir video, you're going to need two devices and one set of headphones or earphones. Okay, those devices could be phones, tablets, or laptops. Basically, we need one device to play our backing track that we're going to listen to, and another device to record our performance. So the one device will plug in our headphones and we'll listen to the backing track, and the other device is just going to pick up our voice and record and film our performance. So a couple things to note. What is ideal is a room that does not have hardly any background noise. So for instance, I don't know if you can hear right now, but my computer fan is going off and it's making a lot of background noise. This can degrade the quality of the audio and makes it a lot harder to use. So other things to look out for are refrigerators, fans. If you have a furnace, for instance, that comes on spontaneously to warm up your house, then you might want to just turn it off just for when you're recording. Another thing that's really helpful is a room that doesn't have much natural reverb, okay? So a bathroom or any room with a lot of hard surfaces is going to have a lot of reverb, and that will degrade the quality of the audio. So something like a living room, a bedroom, even a walk-in closet, those tend to be, or anything that has soft surfaces, those tend to be really good for dampening reverb and getting better quality audio. So keep that in mind. The next thing that's just as important, if not more important, but this is more for the video, is good lighting. So natural lighting, if you have a room with lots of natural light, that's great. And even more lighting, if you can bring lamps from other rooms into the room where you want to perform, the more lighting, the better. As long as you're not washed out, it's really good to make sure you've got lots of lighting on your face, not too many shadows being cast on your face. What happens is, if it's low lighting, let's say you're recording at night or something, your camera has to compensate by digitally turning up the brightness, and it ends up being much lower quality. So if you have good light, the camera doesn't have to work as hard, and it will pick up a much more natural and clear image. What we're also looking for this video is a plain wall, or just a very plain background. The lighter the better. So just to recap, we want to record our performance against a plain light wall with good lighting. Natural lighting is great, but lamps, anything else you've got, good lighting on your face is really great, and not very much background noise. So furnaces, fans, computer fans, and stuff like that. If you can eliminate as much of that as possible, temporarily turn those devices off while you're recording, that'd be great. If you have a phone or a tablet, those tend to be better cameras and microphones than a computer. So the computer will work fine for playing your video, your backing track back to you so you can hear it. But if you have a phone or tablet, that tends to be much better video quality, so that should be your recording device. Now, if you don't have one of those and you just have a computer, that's totally fine. We'll use whatever you got. So just keep that in mind. If you're using a phone or a tablet, just note that the camera that's on the outside of the phone is better quality than the one that's on the inside. This is the selfie cam. So the one where you can actually see yourself is called the selfie cam, and it's not as good quality. So for instance, this one here, it's not quite as good than the one that's here. That makes it a bit trickier because you won't be able to see yourself when you're shooting your video. But it does end up being better quality, so it's something to think about. A couple other notes about recording. We want to set up the phone on something where it's not being held by anybody. Okay, when you hold it, you might start moving it around, and your face is going to be in a different part of the screen. That makes it really difficult for me. So we don't want that, and it also can affect the sound being picked up. So find a way, if you've got a tripod or something like that, or just propping it up on some books, anything like that will work much better. So we also want to make sure that we're in landscape mode if we're using a phone or a tablet, okay, not portrait mode. We want to make sure that we've flipped the phone so that it's recording this way, and we get a nice big image rather than one that would be, like that. Okay, that gives me a lot more room to crop and resize when I'm trying to fit everybody into the video. So lastly, when it comes to recording the performance, we want to make sure that we're framed properly. So right now my webcam is sort of looking down at me, which is maybe not quite ideal, but not too bad. We don't want it to be drastically looking down or drastically looking up. We don't want to tower over the video. We want to look it right in the eye. So if you can get it at eye level, if you're sitting, or you can prop it up, I don't know, maybe on a bookshelf or something like that, that would be great. So one thing is people tend to be either too far or too close. So we want to, basically, we're aiming to get about upper torso at the bottom here, and then just a couple inches on top. Not much, but we don't want our head being cut off, and we don't want most of the screen to be above us, right? So about this is good, okay? When you're recording your performance, don't worry about changing the volume because you're worried that your device won't pick it up. It will pick up everything just fine. If there's a soft section, don't feel like you have to sing louder because you're worried about it being too quiet. I can turn you up no problem, and the device will capture your audio just fine. So no problems there. So you'll notice when you play the backing track, at the beginning, I've added 4 claps. I say, okay, I'm going to count to 4, and then I'd like you to clap the 4 following beats after that. If you just listen through once, you'll see what I mean. And I'd like you to clap when you hear the clap noises after 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then there's a little bit of space, and then the track will start as normal. So when you're doing that, if let's say you get completely off the claps, this is for syncing issues, by the way. This helps me kind of align everybody, make sure we're in the same time. If you're completely off, you may want to start over. You don't need to stop the recording. You could just start over. I can trim the beginnings, no problem. This part will not be in the video. So it's just for me putting it all together. If the first 2 are really good and the next 2 are bad, feel free to say that out loud. Again, it's not going to be included in the video, so you can say, oop, I messed up that last one, but that's okay. When you're ready to record your performance, make sure you hit record on your recording device before playing the backing track. So we want to hit record, and then make sure it's recording, then play your backing track, okay? Don't worry about leaving lots of empty space at the beginning. That makes that's about half a second of work for me to cut the beginning of a track. While recording, try to limit the amount you move. It's okay to sway, but you don't want to be stepping. We want to make sure that your feet are basically planted in the main part of you stays in the same spot. If you're swaying a lot, it might only show this part, and you could go off camera, and that wouldn't be ideal. If you prefer, you want to shoot the video somewhere different, but the audio isn't very good there, you can shoot the video and the audio separately and send them both to me, and that's no problem. When you're done recording and you want to send it to me, please make sure that somewhere you include both your full name and which part you're singing. Okay, if you can rename the file to include that information, let's say you've got it on a computer and you can easily rename, that'd be great. If you're just doing it from your phone, you're going to send it from your phone. Sometimes it's a bit trickier, like it is on my phone. Just make sure you include that information in the email where you send it. Okay. Most of us will probably be using WeTransfer to send our videos, so there's a little spot where you can add a message and you can include that information, full name, first and last, and which part you're singing. Okay, so next step is transferring the file to me. If you're familiar with a certain file sharing service like Dropbox or Google Drive, and you'd rather do that, that's totally fine. Whatever you're familiar with will work fine for me. I'm going to recommend WeTransfer as the main way to send files for those who haven't done it before. So here I am at Google Chrome. I'm going to search for WeTransfer. I could either type WeTransfer.com up here in the top, or I can search for it in the search function here. So here we go. And here we're at WeTransfer. You can click directly on here. Maybe you'll see send a file. That's what we're going to do. You could click either of those. Let's click on WeTransfer here, and we get this. Now, some people might see it might ask you if you'd like to create an account or use the free version. You won't need to create an account. You only need to use the free version. The free version allows you to send anything that's less than 2 gigabytes. Okay, here you're going to add your file. So you click this button, you find it on your computer. You're going to type in my email address, which is actually right here. So, because it's going to meet joel@joelsaundersmusic.com. Type in your own email, and in this message here, you can include any of that information that I asked you to include, like your name, your part, and that's all. So if you're recording this on your phone or tablet, again, I've got Chrome up here, but you could use any web browser. We can type in WeTransfer, and here we are at WeTransfer. We can choose send a file, add your files, and go to photo library. And depending on your device, maybe that says something different, but you want to find the saved file from your @tablet or your phone. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Send me an email at joel@joelsaundersmusic. That's Saunders, SAUNDERS, music.com, and I will do my best to answer any issues you may have. I am actually living here in Guelph, so if you prefer, you could always drop off a memory stick. If we arrange a time, you could come. I'll grab the memory stick from you, load it onto my computer, and give it back. If that's an option that's appealing to you, please let me know. And yeah, happy singing.